Braves Dallas Keuchel on MLB free agency. It's been very sneaky. Chicago U. Dallas Keuchel has a lot to say about the state of MLB free agency. I could talk about this for hours, he told SN. The new Braves starter had a lot of time to look in on baseball from the outside for the past few months as an unsigned free agent. Without a team, and he doesn't feel sorry for himself or expect that anyone else should, but count Keuchel among the players and other observers who see what happened with him during free agency as part of a problematic climate in baseball. Players are taking, the exact reasons continue to be debated, but for Keuchel it comes down to two things: a lack of urgency, and a lack of transparency. It's just a stalemate. Nobody's even among pitchers. Keuchel's situation wasn't unique, either. Last year, it took both of them that long, at least in part thanks to teams deciding to wait until after the amateur draft that takes place the first week of June so they could avoid losing a draft compensation pick. Keuchel said he was, in the history of the game, this has never happened before, Keuchel said. Especially with not, ultimately, Keuchel didn't sweat missing spring training or the first 2 months of the season, at least not physically. He said the idea, it did bother him a little, though, that he waited around for a deal into June, despite his track record. It would seem that as teams like velocity, teams like exuberant spin rate, Keuchel said. His average fastball was just a tick over 90 mph last season, and the average spin rate on his slider last year was 2,190 rpm, where the league average on breaking pitches is around 2,500 this year. And that's all great and dandy, but guys have to go out and perform at the big league level for that to translate over, and not a lot of guys do that. That's why you're seeing teams get attached to the measurables like spin rate and velocity and just throw different pitchers into the mix, who are often cheaper, Keuchel said. They're young and under. The unease Keuchel felt in how this offseason went applies broadly as well. Players like him look because they're nervous, he said of players like Albies. Presumably, they see what has happened with Keuchel and Kimbrel and others and want to avoid it. Keuchel said the unrest in him and the other players is only growing, and as the next collective bargaining agreement is decided upon in 2 years, a lot will have to change. Players feel like it's been very sneaky. They've really kind of, so what needs to happen? There are a lot of do you pay guys earlier, do you blow up arbitration, do you make free agency more like the NBA or NFL? Keuchel said, whatever the next CBA looks like, Keuchel knows there's a lot of money in baseball these days, and like a lot of his fellow players, he believes the guys on the field are getting shorted. I am not saying players are greedy by any means, because we're not. We want fair comp. Some teams are spending plenty on their players, and Keuchel knows this. There are several there's a lot of parity in the league, because there are a lot of terrible teams, Keuchel said. People talk about these teams, Keuchel said, are keeping their payrolls light and spending their money in ways that are ultimately unfair to fans. You see some of the teams in the league, they're making renovations to the ballpark. That's their money. Keuchel has just a 1-year deal with the Braves, so he will probably be right back in the free agency mess this winter. Between now and then, we're going to have our hands full in the next couple of years trying to figure out how to get this ship righted, Keuchel said, and back to a situation where this is never going to happen again and players are compensated fairly. Related slideshow scenes from the MLB season provided by MN.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.